Attorney General Jeff Sessions today was pressed on what the Justice Department is doing about the scandal, but it is certainly not much.
I would offer that some people have gone to jail in that transaction already, but the article talks about other issues. So without confirming or denying the existence of any particular investigation, I would say I hear your concerns and they will be reviewed.
And they will be reviewed. Joining me now, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. Greg, good to see you. And let's turn first to the implications here of the Judiciary Committee opening up the investigation into what Peter Schweitzer, the author of Clinton Cash, had laid before the American people well in advance of the 2016 presidential election.
A year ago, I wrote that it looked like Hillary Clinton was engaged in racketeering in the Uranium One deal. And now these documents uncovered by Circuit News and The Hill seem to prove it. And it's not just racketeering, which is using a business for a corrupt purpose, or businesses or charity, taking backdoor illegal money from Russia. But also, I've counted 5 different anti-corruption statutes that she appears to have violated. If the evidence is as reported, it would be bribery and fraud, wire fraud, bank fraud. I mean, all kinds of anti-corruption statutes. There ought to be a second special counsel appointed to investigate Hillary Clinton over these corruption allegations. And while you're at it, why not reopen the espionage investigation into her private email server?
The private email server scandal, now evidence that James Comey, then the fired director of the FBI, had prepared a document exculpating the Secretary of State before there was an investigation or testimony or any kind of direct testimony from the Secretary of State and other key witnesses. This is, and people are sort of frozen in time. They're not reacting to, we're not seeing the Justice Department move here. We're talking about top officials in the Justice Department, the former Secretary of State and presidential candidate who, on the face of it, were involved in a pay-for-play scandal at the Clinton Foundation. And as you say, the Espionage Act violations that would attend to a private email server in her own home.
Looks like the fix was in, right, Lou?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to explain how she escaped prosecution for the private email server, which is clearly a violation of the Espionage Act. She had 110 plus classified documents in a place that was unsecure and unauthorized. That is per se violation of the Espionage Act. Destroying
PDAs, destroying computers, laptops.
Under subpoena by Congress.
And as if nothing had happened, the Justice Department just simply wilts and goes away. The FBI doesn't enter in a separate scandal, the Democratic National Committee.
Right.
The DNC tells them to go away just because the Russians had penetrated their firewalls and had hacked into the DNC computers. They simply go away because the DNC didn't want the FBI nosing around.
Right. And the great point you made in your opening remarks is the people who are now investigating Trump for Trump-Russian collusion are the very people who, according to these latest documents uncovered, were covering up Hillary Clinton Russian collusion.
I mean, think of these names. We're talking about Rod Rosenstein, who is the Deputy Attorney General, who named, in point of fact, Robert Mueller to be the special counsel who was then FBI director. You go on as you watch this thing explode. These conflicts of interest are so obvious and straightforward and palpable. How could anyone, even at the time, ignore the evidence of corruption in this country that had been perpetrated by and enabled by Russian agents? And $145 million suddenly drops on the Clinton Foundation, the largest donation by far. And this is the result. 20% of U.S. uranium reserves.
Did you ever wonder how the Clintons got so rich so really quickly? Now we know. Yeah. And look, in addition...
Well, at least part of it was speaking fees.
In addition to a second special... Yeah, nanosecond, there was a speaking fee there for little speech. In addition to appointing a second special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton, Mueller and Rosenstein need to recuse themselves or be fired from the current Trump-Russia investigation and put somebody else in there, a new special counsel if you have to.
But there's no evidence here. I mean, at some point, can't the leadership of the Republican Party controlling the Senate and the House, the Senate Intelligence Committees, find the integrity and the guts to do the right thing?
Well, there's very little integrity and guts in Washington, D.C. You know that. There's a dearth of that in the nation's capital.
I keep hoping, as do I think most people, that somewhere we would find somebody with the guts, at least transitory courage, to actually do the right thing, because this has persisted now for so long, over a year of FBI investigation, over 9 months of congressional investigation, and nothing.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we're talking about going back 8 years to the beginning of the Obama administration and the corruption that is in everyone's face.
I don't know how you keep this quiet. For 7 long years, they hid it not only for the American public, all this bribery and corruption and extortion and kickbacks and money laundering by Russia and the funneling of money to Hillary Clinton, but they had a legal duty to tell Congress, and they did not.
I think that there are two immediate answers to the why question, and that is the corruption is almost absolute in Washington, D.C., yeah. And secondly, the failure of the national left-wing media is an ideological one, and the last thing they would do, as they demonstrated, would be to make any kind of a problem for the Clintons, whom they've comforted through 3 decades.
The media is complicit.
Greg Jarrett, great to have you here. Thank you.
Good to see you, Lou.